Good afternoon, everyone. I think we're already getting late, so we'll get started with the session. I'll introduce myself first. So I am Rachita and I'm coming from Freecharge, Bombay. We are also based in Bangalore. And I have been with Freecharge for more than 3 years now. I'm coming from a technical background. And today I'm going to talk about the growth engines at Freecharge. But first I'll tell you what Freecharge is about, because most of you might not be knowing it. It's a startup. We are into online bill payments, utility bill payments, and recently we launched a wallet. So we are moving into becoming the mobile payment solution for all your online and offline needs. We already have 10 million active wallet as of today. We have 30 billion registered users, and we see transaction rates of 200 transactions per second in our peak hours. So that is what Freecharge is about in terms of growth. But this story is of 1.5 years back of how Freecharge reached these numbers. How did Freecharge grow? The presentation will be a mix of product-wise what we did and tech-wise how we built those engines. This is a general outline of the session. I'll start with what growth is at Freecharge. If you Google for a growth funnel, this is a typical growth funnel. It looks very similar. The first thing is awareness. How do you spread awareness about a product? How do people know what you're doing? Once people know about it, you try and acquire them. In acquiring it, Freecharge means we try either to get them signed up on the website or mobile site, or at least install the app. Once that is done, we have to fight the next battle of activating them. Activating means at least one successful transaction on the Freecharge platform. After you have done a successful transaction, you have become a customer, I need to retain you. For that retention, I need to give you some value addition so that you will continue to use the product and not move on to a similar product or a competitor product. After I've tried to retain you, I try to generate some revenue of the transaction that you're doing here. And then you reach a stage of referral. That is, as a customer, you like the product so much that you start talking about it with your friends. It's an advocacy level. So what all we did, we started with social media for spreading awareness. It's cheap, easy to do. We went with movie partnerships. Most of the stars used to give us bites. Vidya Balan saying, recharge with Freecharge. Priyanka Chopra saying, give us a missed call. We went into FMCG partnerships. The first Pepsi partnership where Mahendra Dhoni, Virat Kohli, everyone says, you get a missed call and then you recharge with Freecharge and get 10 rupees. Pepsi's sales doubled that year, and that was not even summers. Then we went into bank partnerships. What we did with banks was, banks also want customers to come online, and we were as a medium that already the customers are online doing recharges, why not do it by their debit cards? So you started seeing offers like 50% cashback with Axis Bank, 10% with HDFC, and so on. Then the last thing was a TV ad. When we had enough money and we were a product that could go on TV, we came out with a TV ad which was targeted at youth, and it got us what we wanted, the awareness. After that awareness, we did a lot of stuff for acquisition of these customers. These were through a lot of like online and digital mediums which are well known to most of you, SEM, SEO, ASO, and your online partners and affiliates. For activation, we started giving some sort of incentives. Your first transaction will be free on us, or we'll give you some reward or cashback on your first transaction. Or we'll give you some instant discount, you don't have to pay, you just experience Freecharge. Or we'll give you equal value cashback so that it's a free for you. Or we give you free coupons of McD, Barista, CCD, PVR cinemas, whatever you feel like, and then you get an equal value for the transactions. Or some or the other reward was attached. So now you have that incentive to come and transact on Freecharge. After you had done that one successful transaction, we tried to retain you by showing the value in that product. Turbo Recharge. Turbo Recharge is the one-click recharge. If you have some balance in your wallet, or earlier it was called the FC balance. You can do a one-click recharge. Then came the saved cards. We started storing cards for you so that next time you just have to put in your CVV and then the transaction is done within very easy steps. Revenue. Recharge is a very low profit margin business. We are always positive on the per unit transaction, but to have revenue in a recharge business, you have to have lot of repeat users. And then we tried doing upsell, cross-sell. For a prepaid user, we tried to show him value in a postpaid transaction or a metro recharge or a transaction on a partner. So that is what upsell, cross-sell is about, because many customers came on our site for a PVR coupon. Many students came looking for MACD, Barista, CCD coupons, but it was a repeat transaction for free charge. After that, referral. When you have acquired the customer and the customer is happy, he is going to surely talk about it, and that is how you get new customer and you spread awareness. The growth trends have changed a lot in the last 1.5 year or 2 years. Desktop was the primary medium for all of us, but then this is the ratio of what we have at FreeCharge and most of the e-commerce sites. Now, all this was happening, so this was what we wanted to do for growth. So this was the scene at FreeCharge. These are all the people in the business side of teams. They were shouting, they had business metrics like total number of transactions, new users to track, and they all wanted something to execute them. This will be a better slide to explain. This was something what, to me, the product person looked like. This was the marketing person, the alliances, the brand marketing, the sales team, and the CEO itself. Everyone wanted something, everyone demanded something from the engineering team. So we had to do something about it. Everyone wanted to fly. The solution was we can give them backpacks, jetpacks, and let them fly all over the world, let them collide if they want to, because single solutions are very easy to build. But the other solution that we wanted to build was a sophisticated aircraft which can be customized by people who are using it. It has lot of features so that it suits your need. It is customized so that there is no collision. You can control it from various mediums. So yeah, we decided to build those aircrafts for our business teams. So what all engines that we built, we gathered all the requirements that could possibly be coming and what all activities we were planning to do in the next 18 months. That was the thing, because startup world is very dynamic. Your competitors roll out something, you have to do that. But we've zeroed on, okay, these are the things we want to do for sure in the next 18 months. We divided them into 3 categories: discount and cashback codes. Like, it's a common thing. You apply this code, you get this thing, you apply this code, you get something else. Everywhere it's a code, it's an eligibility, and you get a reward out of it. Second is referrals. Referrals need to be treated as a different category, because here the person who is referring is also going to be rewarded, and the person who is doing that transaction is also to be rewarded. So that's why it's a different category to target. User activity reward. We realized that we can keep on asking customers to apply a code, do something, but why not reward those users who are already doing a nice activity, who have the potential to become our repeat customer? Why not do something for them? Why not understand their user activity and reward them on that? So we did thousands of campaigns on promo codes. They are still live. This bourbon was a discount code. You don't have to pay anything. You just buy a biscuit packet, you get a code, apply, and you are a FreeCharge customer. You go for metro recharge, that is only in Mumbai right now. You recharge with FreeCharge and you get equivalent value cashback. We also did, if you see, this is the MACD change voucher. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it. It's a lot prevalent in Mumbai. If you go to MACD And if you have a change to get, instead of that 5 rupees, 3 rupees, you'll get 10 rupees, 20 rupees voucher of free charge. So that's how you come and become a customer on free charge. And apart from this, Pepsi was one of the things. Can we take it at the end? Okay. So a lot of campaigns where you have to apply the code and get a reward. Referrals. Now I'm telling you why referrals is a separate category. Most of you would be having Truecaller. Recently only we saw ads. Before that, has anyone seen an ad of a Truecaller? Has anyone seen an ad of Uber? But how did these things go so viral? Because of the referrals. People who used it saw some value addition. How did Truecaller spread? I remember one of my friend coming and telling, oh, see, you tell me some number, I'll tell you whose number it is. So people started seeing something different, some sort of value addition. There it was no incentive at all. In Uber, the first referral was 600 rupees worth free ride in a nice SUV, a Fortune or an Audi or a BMW. So referrals work when your customer believe in that product or the incentive is so high. The first referral campaign that we did, the incentive was 500%. You do a cashback, you ask your friend to do a cashback of 10 rupees with your referral code and you get 50 rupees back. So it's on 10 you get 50 rupees, that's a 500%. This spread like wildfire on all possible posts, on our competitors' pages, on the internal pages of companies, free charge codes were floating. We got so many complaints to stop these codes, but how can we stop? It's the people who are circulating the code. Everywhere we got complaints from cybercrime, people posting codes on government websites. But it spread like wildfire. But this campaign also taught us a lot about fraud, which I'll talk a lot more in detail, because people figured out a way to refer each other and then, in fact, refer themselves. So gradually, after a couple of months of this campaign, we had to shut it down for months because fraud was going beyond 20% of the new users acquired. It's again back up and it's still running very successfully. Now these are the user activity reward. I try to see a pattern that if a customer is doing a transaction of more than 100 rupees, that customer has the potential to become a repeat customer. Or let's say people who transact via a debit or credit card are my repeat customers. Or people who do more than 3 transactions in 2 months are my repeat customers. We tried to find out our Mr. X that we call, and based on those identifiers, we rolled out offers. So if you see that first Ola offer, we did it with a TV ad. All you had to do was do a recharge of a particular amount and you get a 250 rupees free voucher. All you have to do is a recharge, no promo code, nothing. And not only you, because we had to give it out on a medium like television, every customer who was doing a recharge of 50 rupees was getting a voucher. But this spread the word because some people didn't expect the surprise gift. And that's how it started spreading that you don't have to do anything and you're getting this. So all these campaigns that we did are where we targeted a particular segment of user on their activity, we gave a reward. Now, after identifying these 3 types of areas, what should be the technical architecture? We did not build all 3 of them together. We started with the promo codes, but we were very clear that we want to build components that are plug and play. All the FC platforms have a common backend. So they talk to the same set of backend applications, which we call the FC apps. All these activities of users are, because we are on AWS, so we leverage the cloud as much as possible. They are as SNS topics given into SQS system. SQS is nothing but a queuing system, for those who are not aware with the AWS terms. From there, the different growth engines pick them up on a starting point. So when we were building promo code service, the user activity reward service was nowhere in picture. But we knew that we have to build it in a way that any new type of growth engine has to be built. It can be plugged in the same architecture. All the activities that what I'm talking about, if you see, there's a common pattern in them. There's an eligibility criteria. Who will get the reward? So all these eligibility criteria are nothing but a condition and or some combination, some key value pair, some filter. So we call it a condition service. This condition service also does a fraud prevention for us, because fraud is nothing but identifying the unique user and putting a maximum count for that offer. That for this offer, the user can get it once, but maybe for the other offer, he is okay to get it till 10. Like we did an offer with Visa, that anyone uses a Visa card, they can use that code up to 10 times. So that's the condition service. The condition service is the only service that is having a synchronous call from the FC applications, because you have to tell the user on the payments page itself that the code which you are using is not valid because of certain reasons. Otherwise, if you let the user go through and if he or she doesn't get the benefit, then there will be a lot of customer complaints. But this condition service has TP99s of average of 150 to 200 milliseconds, but it's the only synchronous service. Now this condition service talks to both MySQL database and Mongo. Why we had to go for Mongo? All our transactional data is sitting in MySQL. But if at the run time I am doing all the aggregations of customer on different keys to figure out the eligibility criteria or whether the customer is a genuine customer or not, it will get down my entire transactional database. So all the redemption data, the application data of promo code, all the user activity related to these growth engines was dumped in Mongo, and it scaled well for us. So after you have evaluated the conditions and you have figured out, okay, the user is eligible to get a coupon or a reward, you send those events to a reward service. This reward service can give anything as a reward. It can give you a coupon, it can give you a code of free charge, it can give you SMS as a reward, it can give you an IVR call as a reward. Yeah, we did that. People love those type of, I think, complex campaigns. So there was a campaign or set of campaigns during, I think, IPL. You have a promo code, you apply that code, you get a call, IVR call, you answer that quiz. If you answer it correctly, you get another code, you come back to free charge and you do it. And people actually do that type of transaction. That's our target audience. So this reward service can give any type of reward. But once you have decided the eligibility and you have decided on the reward, you have to notify the customer that you have got the reward. In our case, it's always instant reward. Because if the reward is not instant, it loses its value. The transaction is only of 10 or 50 rupees, and on top of that, if you'll give me a reward after 2 days, I won't value it as a customer, especially the customer is 18 to 24 age group. We got a notification service up. This notification service supports your email notifications, your SMS notifications, as well as your app notifications. When the growth was happening and growth was shifting to app, we didn't realize the importance of app notifications unless and until we did a mass campaign and the results were not expected. Why? Because people who are using apps have almost stopped looking into these junk emails which keep on coming from vendors or partners or all these e-commerce players. So they were getting a reward, they were not knowing about it. The day we enabled that app notification for the same thing, we started seeing traction, and within a day, we saw the expected results. The notification service and reward service are async service, but still they have been designed to have processing power of at least 20K notifications or rewards per minute. And you can change the content of any of the notification or an SMS or an email template on the fly and experiment whether putting a button up or a button in red color makes a difference or not, or when you're sending that notification, whether adding a button of yes, no, thanks, okay makes a difference or not, whether sending a splash notification makes a difference or not, because most of our campaigns are very short-lived campaigns. On Facebook or digital media, you put it up for just 1 or 2 days and you have to experiment everything in that period. So you have to build everything so configurable that the business teams can keep on experimenting as and when required. This architecture gave us all the freedom to experiment and run as many parallel campaigns or activities as the business teams wanted, and luckily all those mother-in-laws are happy now. So what are the common features of the growth engines? First thing is, we had a mandate that we can't spoil the recharge experience. FreeCharge earlier had just the recharge experience. Our average transaction completes in 10 to 12 seconds. We can't destroy that. So that's why we only service we built sync call was the condition service. Rest everything is decoupled. Nothing interferes in your main transaction flow. So that customer experience was nowhere spoiled. Live offers. You have 5 platforms and every platform has a different target audience. The people who use an iOS device are very different from your Android users or the people who are using the website. If you have to make different campaigns targeting different customers, you needed the capability to do them all at one go. And that is what the architecture provided. Empowerment of business teams. Let's say I have built this highly configurable system and there is nothing, not a single panel for my business team to change a value. They'll be always dependent on tech. It is a pain for tech to go back, stop the development, change a configuration, change something in the campaign which is running live. So many people are using it. So we made very detailed self-interactive dashboards for the business teams so that they can change and experiment and instantly see the results with help of the monitoring which is attached to the dashboard, and experiment more or change the values back. We'll take it all together. Then there was the requirement of targeting different customers. Our condition service helped us there, and so based on the insights provided by the business insights team, lot of different variations were tried, many of them failed, so we know what not to do and what to do. Instant gratification is one very important thing. We have seen in our customer support that if the cashback is not received within half an hour, our customer complaints shoot up by 50%. That's the kind of quality or the instant gratification speed that FreeCharge customers want. And we had to deliver it. Variable rewards. People can give anything as a reward. Whoever comes, any partner wants to come on our platform. Today we are giving free Baskin-Robbins stick as a reward. We can give you a set of coupons of a company like which has 4 brands in it. We can give you cashback codes of FreeCharge. We can give you actually a cashback. We can give you anything as reward just because the service is designed to be like that. In fact, we can give you multiple variable rewards in a single campaign. If 2 of us are using the same promo code, you can get a different reward and I can get a different reward. The effective notification to customers. As I talked earlier, the thing which was working on website was not working on the mobile site or the mobile apps, and we had to make it that configurable. And notification, one more thing is you need to have proper fallbacks. If your one vendor is down, then your entire activity goes for a toss because people are not getting that reward with them. You are again flooded with customer complaints. keep calm and stop fraud. That's what I would say. Recharge is a business which is pure money. Whatever you get in your talk time is your talk time. No one can take it away. We have seen cases where customers have hoarded talk time and written back to Airtel and Vodafone saying, I accidentally recharged for that much amount, give me my money back. So fraud is something that you need to tackle with anything that you're doing it mass. The people sitting out there are much smarter than you. We take signals from all the platforms and create multiple unique hashes to identify a genuine customer. Once we figure out that the customer is a potential risk, we try out multiple second level of authentications. Earlier, when we were building the growth engines, we had a plain vanilla email registration process, no verification of email. I can write abc@xyz.com and sign up on FreeCharge. That was the situation. So we not only fixed the top of the funnel with an OTP-based verification, we captured so many other signals of your card numbers, of your IPs, of your locations, any possible thing that we can figure out and map it to a unique user. And once we figure out that you are a risk, we provide you with a second level to authenticate yourself via social connect or an OTP, and then only you can go and pass through and get the reward. We are even planning to do eKYC using the Aadhaar APIs to have even a more genuine customer base, and so that the right set of customer get all the benefits. Now, after doing all this, was there any impact on business? Yes, and these metrics prove that whatever we did has the very positive impact. If you search for FreeCharge as a keyword, these are the Google trend results that happened. Our transactions per day, this is the overall transaction, and these are the app transactions. So in FreeCharge, when I joined, and when most of us joined in the starting days, there was no employee ID concept. We used to recognize each other by the number on the day you joined. I joined at 18K, someone joined at 20K, number of transactions you do in a day. And then this is how it sold, and we were not able to keep track of those numbers. So this is a particular graph which I would like to talk about. So when you do a TV campaign, the first TV campaign is for spreading awareness. After that, there's a concept of tailwind in the media. Tailwind is something that once you spread an awareness, you do certain TV ad that makes these customers active on your platform. We thought of doing a tailwind by giving 20 rupees to every customer who recharges on FreeCharge for 20 rupees only on the Android app. If you see, these are the graphs that we saw. Can you see the PG breakdown? That is, so whenever we do an activity, we first test it out on the digital media. The green graph is a regular thing. The orange is the effect on digital media. So when we did on digital media, that is Facebook and all our the affiliates we have for the app downloads, the PGs broke down. They were not able to, so first they started complaining that the TPS that you are having, it is a fraud. Our recharge partners were not able to hold up to this volume. They all came down. And then finally the entire e-commerce in India was down that day, including IRCTC, because we were on PayU. When PayU went down, we went to BillDesk, and it was a nightmare that day. But we thought it's okay. Our partners promised us we will be able to hold it up. You do it on TV. And when we did it on TV, it broke even before. So we were like helpless, and it also gave us a lot of learnings that we should look at building a lot of stuff in-house for which you have a critical dependency on the partners, because if they are down, you can't do anything. Because of this, we had to extend that campaign by another day. We were flooded with customer complaints, but we were happy none of our systems went down. We didn't have a single outage, neither on the database side, nor on the app side, or the mobile application side. What were the key learnings that we had during all these activities that we have done? First thing is customer perspective. People say it's a part of like product team to figure out. As engineers, you can learn a lot on what your customers are doing. If you study their activity, you have all the application logs, you have all the data at hand with you. Understand the customer perspective. People want different type of offers and you have to give them those variations according to their interest. And also keep it in a way that they know that they have been rewarded and they can look for the reward and utilize it. Build decoupled systems. Keep your systems as moving as possible. People say it's so difficult to monitor moving components, but now when we have so much of technology in monitoring alarming systems, we should always look at building systems which are as decoupled as possible, as logically separated as possible. Your system should be always built keeping in mind that tomorrow you can sell it as a service to anyone. So whenever we build it, we think it can be sold to anyone as a service, not within free charge. You build highly scalable and reliable system. Although we are on cloud, but focus should be also on vertical scaling. Horizontal scaling works only up to a limit. Leverage cloud as much as possible. You can expand anytime that you want. Real-time monitoring and alerts to know that something is happening, something is going down, or something is not working. It's not only system monitoring, it's about monitoring on your transaction rates, on your redemption of codes, on your logins, on your coupon opt-ins. Every possible thing we do monitor in real time and alert for the team to take action. And last is you experiment and learn. Till the time you don't experiment with your systems, you won't know what your customer is looking for. You won't know your own shortcomings. And you never know what clicks with the customer in this dynamic e-commerce world. So a small variation in your email communication or in the construct of the promo code or in the construct of the reward that you're giving goes a long way to help you in targeting the right set of customers. So this is all that I have. Now we can take up the questions.
Your business. Hello.
So we, no, it's like someone is looking at that dashboard and figuring out it's going up or down. So there's some key metrics that we always target, like total number of transactions, total new user transactions coming in, and apart from like based on the campaign of a construct, like what it is going to get. So people look at them like it's all, the data is always available. We don't alarm that it's, oh, this campaign has done 50% more. media coupon. That is all funded by any coupon that is listed or anything that you get like Ola voucher that you get as a cashback. Most of the stuff is coming from the partners. We are providing them a medium to acquire new customers because if you're getting a voucher, you're going to be a new customer for that partner also. So Airtel, we don't do partnerships.
The recharge is across
Sorry.
our bill.
Okay, so we do recharges via other aggregators which are in the market. Like you have seen those kirana shops which do recharge the panwalas and all. They have some devices. So the same vendors provide APIs. They are Urinate, Oxygen, Suvidha. These are the players in the
Not
market.
directly with the utility.
They do integrations with the telcos.
That is, you open arena to a lot of generally all the operators also.
Yeah, because whatever the online aggregator can provide us, we will provide the online. We don't directly go and talk to the telcos, Airtel or Vodafone.
Your convincing part would be with the partners who provide those coupons.
Yeah, so partners also, the thing is that when Freecharge started, the first two coupons it has was Medgay and Barista. Those were the toughest to crack. We waited that long because we wanted to go with something exclusive. So once you have the toughest, like it's something like this, na, ki if you have done a business with Medgay, I can go and tell like Burger King, see Medgay is already there, why don't you come? So we always try to, so when we went with media, the first media house that we did was Yashraj. When we went with cinemas, the first thing that we did was with PVR. Because if you wait and you try to crack the toughest, rest all will fall.
And what's next?
So next with Freecharge is like I talked, Freecharge has launched the wallet and we want to be the payment solution for you. Like you need not go anywhere, all your online and offline is done by that. How? You'll soon see like how it is going to be there. Because in India, cash transactions have a very like deep impact on the GDP. You lose a lot of money. So we have to fight with cash and no one else. Yeah, any other questions?
Hello. So I have a question. So the three growth engines that you spoke about, do you have any stats to say currently which of them, like could you rate them, like which is working out the most for Freecharge and which is not? And also, do you have any other growth engine coming up? Is there anything that's being worked upon right now?
Not a new growth engine. We are having a lot of variations for the user activity engine because that has still a lot of potential to target users and grow and give different type of rewards. Growth engine wise, referral is the most popular. Referral works the best because you target awareness, you get acquisition, you get activation and another advocacy because if I get a code, if I do a recharge, I get cashback, I'm sure to share it for you. So referral is the most successful. Promo code works in India because we as users, like our users for 10 rupees will go apply the code and do it. So promo code works in India. We like free stuff, we like discounts.
I particularly like the funnel that we spoke about because I think that's something that every new business or new product has to go through, how to get maximum number of users at the top, out of the bottom. My question there particularly is given that the explosion of mobile usage in India is happening now with the rural areas and your tier 2 and tier 3 cities, what is Freecharge doing to increase the awareness in that space? Is that a target market for Freecharge or what's your take on that?
Yeah, every mobile user is surely. So earlier when we were just into utility-based payments and recharges, every mobile user was a target audience. With the wallet, every cash user is my target audience. So currently the app, if you see, yeah, it will be people who have a smartphone or a feature phone also it works. But the thing is, the main challenge is how to get people to transact online. You have to build that trust. So cashback codes work the best there. So I'm not sure, Freecharge has a type of code that we sell a lot in the market. These are called frequent codes. They are pure money. The moment you use recharge experience, have that experience of all possible online bill payments at one place. For that, I need to give you an incentive to make that hurdle of payments go away for the first time. But once you have done a transaction, you always come back. So if you see the statistics, and these were shared by Visa and MasterCard with us, many people who are from Visa, MasterCard might know, a person who once goes for an online transaction has never gone back to offline transaction for that thing. IRCT is the best example. Like, once we have started doing it, it's so painful, still we do it. We laugh at people who say we go and stand in the queue. So gradually, online buying of stuff and recharge will reach a social shame phase where people will say, you go and recharge offline, like, seriously? It will all start happening in the background. That's where